My name is Dvora. I'm an anthropologist and I teach conflict resolution at the university. I think one of the nice things I've been noticing in SE is the multiplicity of cultures who are interested and willing. I mean, even within Israel, we see secular and religious and very secular and men and women. Because I think it is a language of the body. I think the quickness of SE is a huge asset, that it's not a long-term investment where you don't feel or experience the impact of the therapeutic process. Right. I think SE is very efficient. Right. And I think the efficiency factor is really unique to the system from all of the years of various types of access to therapeutic processes. I come from California and grew up various therapeutic processes. By far, SE tends to have in its favor this efficiency factor that really is unique to it, I believe. Well, I think SE training and the SE principle is an opportunity for people to take responsibility for themselves and for their own reactivity, and detaches reactivity from culture. And I think SE helps you figure out what is essential, what is not essential, when you're fighting for something, because you're discovering that what you find to be most resourceful is within yourself. SE describes you and your own and your experience of a trauma. It is, I guess, potentially one way to exercise an experience of victimhood, which is what trauma tends to be, the ultimate of victimhood. And since victimhood plays into both the political name-calling, identifying who's the victim, who's the victimizer, the relationship of who has relations of power and so forth, I mean, it's a very complex, dynamic victimhood. But SE training in itself sort of detaches victimhood from an interpretation and places it on lived experience. I think it allows you to see yourself no longer as a victim, but as a person who can take oneself out of the victimhood. If one understands victimhood as not only being perpetrated by somebody, but also how I experience it. Well, I think what's interesting about the model is that, I mean, you see that victimhood isn't something that happens once, but because the trauma persists, it gets worsened. That's right. That's right. So the experience of your victim, it only intensifies with time if the trauma vortex is playing its role. What the trauma work helps you to do is to reframe the problem and to get perspective that's a less distorted perspective of a conflict. And it enables you to both detach and come from a greater place of calm, from a more integrated self that can take that can face a negotiation process, a conflictual situation with greater balance, greater perspective. So I would say that one could seek, when one's nervous system is in balance, I would believe that a pattern to seek an equivalence of pain, to try to reap revenge, would be shifted more towards a desire to seek reparations for the damage done, so that you can look in a larger future tense. I think when you are living in a greater balance state, you feel a greater sense of hope and a greater sense of possibilities for a future.